There comes a point in almost everyone's financial life where the whole game shifts. For years, you log into your account, stare at the same slow moving number, and wonder if any of this is actually working. Then, almost out of nowhere, you look again and your investments are quietly earning more in a year than some people bring home from a full time job. It's not luck, and it's definitely not magic, it's math. And there are three specific net worth numbers that act as turning points, the exact moments where this shift kicks in hard. If you're new here, a former investment banker who now spends her time teaching people how money actually works. What I'm about to walk you through completely reshaped how I think about building wealth, and I think it'll do the same for you. In this video, we're breaking down three key numbers, why crossing each one flips a switch and accelerates everything after it, and how to keep going when it feels like nobody around you gets what you're doing. Let's dive in, but first, we need to understand why this happens at all, because once the mechanics click, the milestones themselves will make a lot more sense. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you start investing. Your first few years are going to feel completely pointless. You put in money every single month, you check your account, and the number barely moves. It's discouraging. Most people quit right here. But that's because in the early stages, almost all of your growth is coming from you, from the money you're putting in, not the money your money is making. Compound interest is like a snowball at the top of a hill. In the beginning, it's small, it's slow, and it honestly doesn't look like it's going anywhere. But snowballs don't grow in a straight line. They grow exponentially, and there are specific points along that hill where the snowball suddenly becomes big enough that it starts picking up speed on its own without you having to push it anymore. That's exactly what happens with your net worth. And there are three of these points, three milestones, where the psychology of investing and the actual math of investing both shift in your favor at the same time. Let's break them down. The first milestone is your first $100,000, and this is without a doubt the hardest milestone you will ever hit. Financial experts and investors have said it for decades. The first $100 K is the hardest. Why? Because at this stage, compound growth is contributing almost nothing. If you have $10,000 invested and you get a 10% return in a year, that's $1,000. Nice, but it's not life-changing. Most of your progress toward that first $100 K is going to come from your own contributions. Your discipline, your savings rate, your side hustle income. This is the grinding phase. It can take years. It can feel like nothing is happening. But here's why it matters so much. This is the stage where you build the habits and the systems that will carry you through everything else. The person who can stay consistent here is the person who makes it to milestone 2. Once you cross $100 K though, something starts to shift. The same 10% return on $100,000 is now $10,000 a year without you lifting a finger. That's real money. That's a nice vacation, a car payment, a chunk of rent, all generated passively. This is where people start to feel the first spark of, oh, this is actually working. The second milestone is what I call the crossover point, and for a lot of people, this lands somewhere between $400,000 and $500 as zero depending on your investment returns and your income. This is the moment your portfolio's average annual growth starts to rival what a lot of people take home in a year from their actual job. If your investments return even a conservative 7-8% a year on $500, zeros in, that's $35,000, $40,000 a year in growth. That's a full-time salary for a lot of people, generated entirely by money that's already working for you. This is the milestone where the emotional shift happens. You stop thinking of your portfolio as savings and you start thinking of it as a second income stream, one that doesn't need you to show up, doesn't need a boss, and doesn't take sick days. It's also the point where volatility starts to feel bigger in dollar terms. A 10% market dip on $500 K is $50,000, and that can feel scary. But this is exactly why milestone 1 matters so much. If you built strong habits and a long-term mindset in the grinding phase, you won't panic sell here. You'll understand that the dips are part of the process. The third milestone is what I call financial escape velocity, somewhere around the $1 million mark. And this is the milestone everyone's heard of, but very few people understand why it's actually the turning point. At $1 million, using something like the widely cited percent rule, your portfolio can theoretically generate around $40,000 a year in withdrawals, indefinitely, without you ever touching the principal. But the real magic isn't the withdrawal number. It's what happens to the growth. At this stage, a normal market year, say an 8-10% return, can add $80,000 to $100,000 to your net worth. Let that sink in. That's more than most people's entire annual salary, and it happened simply because your money existed in the market for 365 days. This is what people mean when they say wealth snowballs. You're no longer the main driver of your own growth, your assets are. Your job at this point essentially becomes protecting and maintaining the machine you've already built, rather than being the sole engine behind it. This is financial escape velocity, the point where your money is working harder than you are, and the gap between the two just keeps widening every single year. Now, here's the hard truth. Most people around you will not understand why you're doing this. You'll be told to enjoy your money now, that you're being too extreme, that you can't take it with you. And in the early milestone 1 phase, when your numbers aren't moving much, it can feel like they might be right. A few things that actually help you stay the course. Track your progress monthly instead of daily, because daily market swings will make you crazy, while monthly and yearly trends show you the real story. Automate everything, because the less willpower required, the more consistent you'll be, and consistency is the entire game in milestone 1. Find one or two people who get it, whether that's an online community, a friend, or even just channels like this one, because surrounding yourself with people playing the long game keeps you playing it too. And remember the math. Every single dollar you invest today is a dollar that gets to compound for decades. So the earlier you start, the less you actually have to contribute later, because your money starts doing the heavy lifting for you. The people who make it to milestone 3 aren't smarter or luckier than everyone else. They're just the ones who didn't quit during milestone 1 when it felt like nothing was happening. So those are the 3 milestones: $100 K, the crossover point around $500 K, and the $1 million mark, each one changing not just your numbers, but the entire psychology of how you relate to money. If this helped you understand where you are on this journey and where you're headed, hit subscribe, because I break down exactly this kind of thing every single week. And let me know in the comments, which milestone are you working toward right now? I'll see you in the next one.